So I'm talking here with water economist David Zetland about drought the current drought in the US. David, we were talking earlier on about agriculture in particular, and agriculture is one of the largest users of water in these drought-affected areas in the US. But do people in urban areas need to start thinking about the drought? How does it affect their lives, and what should they do about it?
Good question. A lot of people, they say right off the bat, oh, farmers are using or wasting a bunch of water. We should just take water from them, and then we could continue on our merry way with our showers and with our food preparation and all those residential things. Our industrial production, municipal and industrial use of water is what it's called generally. So let's just take it from the farmers, and we can fix our urban areas up that way. The we're getting some. Can you hear the noise from the construction? Let me. What are you gonna do? These guys. There's construction. Don't worry. It's life. So the first of all, can we take it from the farmers? In theory, yes. In reality, politically, very difficult. So most cities, what they're left with is living with the water that they have as a separate right from what the water the farmers have. And then if they run out of their water, they're in trouble. It is possible to get more water from farmers, or usually more water from the environment or groundwater. But generally speaking, you don't want to run out your urban water supplies with the hope that someone somewhere will come and rescue you, often because it takes too long to make a connection with a pipeline and so on. So what can people in cities do? As an economist, I'll tell you that there's the obvious idea is raise the price of water, so that people who are looking at a higher water price will decide to use less water for various optional uses. That's things like watering the garden. Other people will say, no, we have to put watering restrictions on. We have to require that people use high-efficiency appliances. We should say you should only water your lawn on Tuesdays and Saturdays. So there's kind of or we should restrain ourselves. So those alternative ways of reducing water demand or water stress, they can work. They're sometimes not very effective. Sometimes they count on the goodness of the water user. Yes, I will take a shower for 3 minutes, and my neighbors, I agree, they should too, but I don't know if they are. Sometimes they are very blunt instruments. You install a high-efficiency toilet in your guest room, and no one ever sits on it. So in that sense, there are different responses. Some of them more effective than others, and as an economist, I favor higher prices because it gives people a signal they should use less water. And in developed countries where people are wealthier and water is quite cheap, this does not usually also create a hardship where poor people are going to die of thirst.
And as an economist, I tend to agree with you that prices are a very important part of the answer. In terms of urban water use or municipal and industrial water use, what do you think are the main drivers in terms of water demand at the current time?
Easily population. More people use more water. Then there's lifestyle, which is that if you want to have a bigger house or you want to have a lawn around your house as opposed to a shared apartment, or you want to have a bathtub compared to a shower. So there's a component of lifestyle, there's a component of population, and there's a component of technology, which is how well can we, how efficient can we get what we want with as little water as possible. So technology can give you a high-efficiency dishwasher that uses half the water of an old dishwasher, for example, or a high-efficiency clothes washing machine. The dimension of lifestyle that is big doesn't just include large living areas, doesn't just include power showers, it also includes eating meat, which uses a lot of water in terms of the production of of grain or grass or of meat, and very scary for some people, having kids. Having kids, in many cases, is a lifestyle choice. It's not a survivalist necessity. And if you have kids, that contributes to population. And if those kids all want to have iPhones and their own personal sauna, then they're going to use a lot of water as well. So all these things feed on each other.
And tell me, do you think that certain supply-side solutions to scarcity, such as wastewater treatment, do you think that they will play an important role in U.S. states in the future?
Oh, sure. Yeah, I think that. So you can deal with scarcity by increasing supply or reducing demand. You can increase supply in many ways. Most of the easy ways have been tapped out. We've dammed the rivers. We've mined the groundwater. Unconventional sources of water are wastewater recycling, which literally means taking wastewater from a sewage treatment plant, making it drinkable, potable for human reuse, or obviously agricultural reuse. That happens sometimes. Some people think desalination is a better version than that. Desalination just takes seawater and cleans it in exactly the same way as wastewater. Desalination tends just to cost more in terms of money and energy, which is another kind of money cost, but also an environmental cost. So those sources are going to be attractive in areas where politically and culturally people are not willing to reduce their demand. They would rather build a desalination plant for $1 billion than give up their lawns. So that is an interesting problem. It doesn't necessarily create bigger problems. You know, it obviously costs money. It could create bigger problems if there's an environmental impact that's from that desalination plant. But in theory, the community should be allowed to respond in the appropriate way. In reality, sometimes their responses have negative impacts on other communities.
And in terms of responses to scarcity, do you think that drinking more bottled water can be a potential solution?
Probably not. Drinking bottled water is a good idea when you're thirsty. It's a good idea when you're substituting bottled water for Coca-Cola. It's a good idea when you want a bottle and you don't have a bottle and you want to pay $1 to get a plastic bottle so you can refill it a couple times. But you can, bottled water is extremely resource intensive to bring to your hand. It has to be, like all water, it's taken out of the ground or even out of a municipal water supply. It's going to be filtered. It's going to be bottled. It's going to be put on a truck and then hauled over to your local store, grocery store. Then you buy it and you bring it home, or you on your bike, but much more commonly in your car. And all of those steps, mostly the transportation of bottles of water, use a lot of energy, a lot more energy than you'd be using if you were taking the water out of your tap. Now, if your tap water is drinkable, then bottled water is a huge luxury. If your tap water is not drinkable, then it's a necessity. And in drought, like in the rain, you're not necessarily going to drink more or less water. You'll drink when you're thirsty. What happens in drought is you'll cut out optional water uses, which are things like watering your lawn. And as far as I know, most people don't water their lawn with bottled water, so that won't necessarily be a solution.